Aloha. This is Matt Darnell with ComTel.Cloud, cloud like up in the sky, joined by Greg Jackson. Hey, Greg, let's go ahead and get right in this rundown here. So let's talk about crypto bubbles. Only thing I know about a bubble is it's going to burst. So what's going on with this site?
There's probably a lot of bursting going on the site. So this is an interesting site. You can look at the trend of your favorite coin. If you click on a bubble, it'll actually give you some statistics and trend analysis. Yeah, like
Oh,
that.
wow. Okay.
Give you pricing.
2.48. I've never heard of that coin. Not what's like not coin?
Yeah, it's interesting how
Seven.
much money's in these things, right?
All right. Oh, here's Dogecoin.
Yeah.
Man, 30 billion. I don't see Bitcoin.
Well,
Where?
they have a search up on top, and but you also have
Ah,
the
okay.
Bitcoin symbols on the bottom right there
Oh,
as well.
there we go. Okay.
A
What's
couple
this?
of versions.
Oh,
That's
that's
cash,
interesting.
Bitcoin
Only
Cash.
7.5 billion there, and that's for the day up and down. Oh,
Yeah,
that's kind
there
of
you
neat
go.
for the last hour. I mean, this is not
Yep.
like the stock market. This is trading literally 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So for the year, wow. I mean, to me, this is one of the purest forms of gambling. When you go with the meme coin, um, with that. But
You
that
can see
that's
BTC on the far right there. That's the
BT. Oh,
traditional one.
oh,
Yeah,
there we
that's
go.
the one
Oh,
you're
the bit.
thinking of.
Oh, okay, 1 point. Okay, there we. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I did BCH. I'm like, why is it only 3 billion? Okay, 1.5 trillion dollars. There we go. One Bitcoin. Um, but that's really a neat site. I mean, do you track this? I mean, I wonder if you pay for it, you can get by the minute. Oh, really neat. Bitcoin,
Yeah.
market cap, Ethereum. What's your go-to right now?
I'm a BTC fan.
BTC, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Traditional. All right.
China, US, they're billions, tens of billions invested in it so
All
far.
right. So now let's talk
Yeah.
about car interfaces. Here we have an article talking about how, GM, they're ditching CarPlay and Android Auto, and they want to do their own interface. And Rivian, they think buttons and switches and dials in a car, for you to control your car is just a waste of time and money. They all want to have their own interface. And let me ask you this. When you want to do something in your car, turn on the windshield wipers, change the radio station, do you want to talk to your car or do you want to just reach out and grab it and do it?
It depends if my son's in the car with me.
Okay.
If he's talking, then yeah, I just need a knob.
And that's a huge thing because my wife hates it she knows whenever I press the button on the steering wheel, she needs to stop talking. And if I want to make her mad, I'll do it in the middle of one of her sentences. Not that I've ever done that. I've thought about doing it, but yeah, that's the problem. There's so much. How many times, like we have Alexa and Siri all over our house, we'll just be talking, and all of a sudden they'll just start. Oh, what do you want me to do? I mean, just something random, like the price of coffee, in Venezuela. When you buy a 50-pound bag. So that's the biggest challenge is, somebody in the back seat says, "Hey, something really silly. Go ahead and open up the convertible top." And it's raining, and you're at a stop, and all of a sudden the convertible top starts opening, and the car gets wet. So, but changing channels, all that kind of thing. I mean, maybe it's me, the old man, get off my lawn, but I want a knob. I want like in my car, I've got a Ram truck, right, a relatively new one. If the radio's off, there's no other clock. I I have to turn on the radio to see what time it is, which is really kind of
Yeah.
crazy. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about tanks and technology. One new technology replaced an old technology. Back in the day before World War II, battleships were thought to be the king and queen of the ocean. But
Yeah.
what they found out, it's aircraft carriers. These navies had these battles, and the ships never saw each other. Right? It was just the airplane. So battleships really went by the wayside. And now, the gentleman, former CEO of Google says tanks are the same way. And what is a tank? It's an artillery gun that can move a lot faster than a horse can pull it. So now you've got a drone that can drop the same amount of ordnance, and you don't need the tank part. You don't need the people
Well,
in the
it's
tank.
targeted too. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see it, and fly. And if you lose the drone, they get shot down. You're not losing multiple millions of dollars. So it's amazing that this drone technology and all the AI kinds of things are having this kind of impact on people. And this is kind of I think, an unforeseen um, a result of this, where they think, wow, we have, drones are so great for doing a lot of things, and all of a sudden now we have an even better way to kill people, and and do that. And that's the problem. Like, what wasn't Alfred Nobel the Nobel Prize? Didn't he invent dynamite or something? It was this wonder thing. Wow, we can use it to, we don't need to use a pick and axe to dig holes through mountains when we want to build a tunnel. Well, yeah, there's other uses for it as well. So it's just amazing to me how you do one thing, it's really great, and all of a sudden it gets perverted, and then we're able to do something else with it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now let's talk about layoffs. Go ahead. And I saw you had this article about Dropbox.
Yeah, it's interesting. I try to monitor some of the layoffs that are going on just to see how the tech industry is responding to the economy. And this one popped up on my radar. I use a website to kind of monitor these things. Sometimes they pop up, yep, layoffs.fyi. And you can see what the market looks like, how the trends are going, who's laying off the most. It gives you a sense. I mean, unfortunately, when there's layoffs, that usually means the stock price is going to go up because now they're cutting costs. Um, Hopefully, it means they're getting their finances in order to make the bottom line look better. But as we look at some of these companies that are laying people off, it gives you a sense of where some of the technology is going as well, how much people are using it, where they're putting their finances. So yeah, I'm not really sure where Dropbox is going. I haven't, if you, in your interaction with your customers, are you using a lot of Dropbox?
No, I mean it's usually, the Google Drive or
Yeah,
SharePoint,
yeah,
is because it's got one of the best things in it. It's free.
yeah,
What I tell my customers about SharePoint, it's in the word there, share. It's not locked down, secure. No one bad is ever going to see it. Point. It's
yeah,
SharePoint. So you need to do that. And so when you look at a Dropbox, I mean, if they could do the secure part better than SharePoint or Google Drive, I think there's a not so much like share file, that's a little bit different, but yeah, and that's huge. And like, look, when I sorted by the top people to get laid off, it's Redbox. I'm assuming
yeah,
that's the DVDs where you go down to the store, and that was great for a while. They were probably going just like Blockbuster, right? I mean, they were going
yeah,
crazy for a while, but yeah, it totally changed. Okay, now let's the power button. There's a new Mac Mini that just came out, and the power button is here on the bottom of the unit, and we don't need no stinking power button. You know, Power button have that. And when you think it just by default, it just sounds crazy. Why would you put that on the bottom? But then you think, my computer goes to sleep. My daily driver is a Windows machine, but I have, Macs around. Um, we need that for customers. And I don't press the power button very often.
yep.
I mean, and
The
and
reset
so
button now.
yeah, exactly. And it goes to sleep and I wake it up with the keyboard. I'm not pressing the power button anymore. So that is it's a pretty innovative thing. And I still go back to the day when that first iMac came out and they didn't have a floppy drive. I mean, I went crazy.
Yep.
Why? How could you have a computer without a floppy drive? All the kind of things you wanted to share files, computer to computer. Um, so I think, like, if I look at the computer right by my side, it's right there on the top. I have a tower chassis, so you kind of could put that on the bottom, but it's small enough now that if you had to, you could lift it up. What's interesting though is they put it on the back corner. So you've kind of got to reach
Yeah.
up and over to do it. I would have thought they would have, if you're going to pick a corner, just one of the front corners, because generally that's going to be the one closest to you. I can't imagine it's because people accidentally we're pressing it. I think it's just they're just wanting to get it, want a big, cleaner interface. But I just thought, wow, power button on the bottom. Very
Did
interesting.
you read? Did you read? Did they make this a touch, like a fingerprint reader as well?
I don't I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
But that, I mean, I know a lot of the laptops have that.
Yeah,
All right.
I thought, yeah, I thought it was a touch ID button as well.
Oh, it could be. We'll check
Yeah.
on that. So open source. So open source is supposed to be, well, supposed to be what I think open source is. I write some code, I put it out there, depending on the license that I give it, GPL, 1, 2, I think there's even a 3 now, um, that you can take that code and do whatever you want with it, with the right letters. All different. I mean, there's probably hundreds of different main licenses. I know Apache has one and all different kind of things. Um, but all different licenses. So like there's the big thing with WordPress that they blocked out a huge WordPress provider because they didn't donate enough back to the WordPress Foundation. And so here now there's billboards saying, like SSH, if you use the default SSL code or open SSL, all that in your code, if you do that, you have to list it and you have to provide the source code for all those kind of open source things that you use it in closed source code. But do you think they need to give back more? So this is beyond just me being altruistic and writing code and giving it out there.
I don't think that, I mean, they're probably having trouble getting people to contribute things, and there's probably overhead in maintaining source code. So I I think there's probably, when a lot of open source stuff came up, it was about community and donating. And I think you've got a lot more overhead now for people that need to scan the code to make sure it's clean. So I think some of it's appropriate.
Okay. All right, so now let's talk about Windows 10 here. So you work for a very large multinational corporation. How much Windows 10 do you see out there?
I see Windows 10 with the 22H service pack.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's, it's actually, the one customer that I work with is using an old version. A lot of that has to just do with how long it takes to update. So I have a feeling they're going to skip and go straight to 11. That's
Okay.
probably what they're going to do.
Because Windows 10 is going to be end of support October 14th, 2025. So we're, as an MSP, we're talking to all of our customers and let them know how many Windows 10 they have. But now, but you can now pay for because businesses have kind of had that even for Windows 7. You could pay extra money to continue to get. You won't get any more features, but you'll be able to get support fixes and updates. And here they're saying Microsoft is allowing you to pay $30 for consumers to do Windows 10. And I don't know of any consumer software. I'm not talking about somebody that has Windows 10 home and they've got 50,000 Windows applications for video editing, but just my
This
mother-in-law.
makes sense to me. Yeah, this totally makes sense to me. Do you remember back about 10 years ago when the UK and the US spent multi millions of dollars to extend the XP support?
Oh,
So they're,
absolutely.
they're trying to, I'm guessing they got these update teams, and now they're saying, okay, if you want us to support it, we got to hire a whole nother staff just to help you. So makes sense to me. But you're right, it's kind of painful to pay.
Exactly. And then go ahead and update. They have that there. But anyway, October 14th, 2025. So I want to thank you for joining us here today. We're here every week with some weekly topics. If you have something you want us to talk about or take a look at, go ahead and put that in the comments. Greg, thanks so much and have a great day.
Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha.